Okay. So, what is going on with everybody out there? I really hope that everyone is doing as well as they possibly can for themselves. I want to put out a disclaimer before I start this video. This is going to be a negative video. This is going to be a lot of rambling about a lot of bad things, things that come in life automatically, kind of. But me as a person, they really get me messed up. They get me in a really bad way. And this is to be expected. But this kind of crept up on me really, really quick. And, I know a lot of times people might not really care about other people's problems but and like I said, disclaimer, if you are in a good way or you're feeling better or lately you have not been down and out, I don't know if this is a video to watch because it might make a person that way. And that's not my intention for doing this video. My intention for doing this video is to get some of this stuff out of my mind and to talk about it because I don't personally have a therapist right now. I don't have someone that I can talk to every day. Even though I talk to my brother a little bit and I talk to my mom a little bit, there's just some things that I don't feel like I can talk with them about. And that kind of makes me resent them in a way. Not that I want to feel that way, but it's kind of like I feel as though I can't talk to the people that are closest to me, and that kind of hurts. That is discouraging. That makes me feel a certain way. And as bad as I want to say it's not their fault, in a way, it's like some people could be more open than what they are, but they don't choose to be open. A lot of people will remain in denial of things that are really going on in their life. They won't express stuff that's what like they really hold on to and things like that. And I don't want to talk about other people in this video because I got on here just to say what happened to me the last couple days. So, the reason that I made this video is because, and I know this is probably a very boring video to most people. I don't know, maybe some of you need to hear this, but I would say, as a human being to other human beings, because I do care, I would say always prepare for the worst. Now, I know that can be depressing for some people. Some people that can get them very discouraged. It can cause a whole bunch of emotional things. It can cause a whole bunch of drama. I know what it can cause and what it does, but I had something happen where events just took place one after the other, after the other, after the other. These unfortunate life events that happen. And I know that they're going to happen because this is life and these things happen. But one thing that happened yesterday, Labor Day, was I got a text from my aunt saying that my half brother has sepsis and his kidneys, his pancreas, and his liver are all failing. And that just started off the roller coaster of worry. And because I care, I do care, because I put myself in the shoes of other people and I tend to worry about it. Even though I don't want to worry, I do worry. I'm not going to lie. I do worry. I'm a human being and I don't. Just because I've been talking about creative things and I've been kind of upbeat and I've been feeling a little better, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to have videos where I am really down and out. Like I hit a rock bottom or I go through something, because I'm only a human like everybody else. I don't try to act like I'm not human because I am. And I'm, you know, everything that's happening, I'm happening with it. And I know bad shit is going to come. Stuff is going to come. People are going to get hurt. People are going to get injured. Family members are going to die. Things are going to happen. People are going to get sick. And look, I wish that life wasn't like this, but it is. It is like this. And I can't sit here and act like it's not happening when it is, because life is a bitch sometimes. See, I can't say life is good and life's a bitch, because it's both. Life is good sometimes, and sometimes life is a bitch. Unfortunately, this Labor Day was a bitch. And then next, I didn't feel well. I didn't feel well for the last couple of days. I don't know if it was from something I ate that got me sick or something is going on with my body. I really don't know. I've been having really itchy skin lately. My legs will itch really bad. And overall, I'll feel shaky. I'll feel really shaky, and I just won't feel well. I'll feel like I'm kind of hungover or something in a way. And my gram wasn't feeling good. She took one too many of her pills that she wasn't supposed to, but she didn't feel good regardless. It wasn't because of that necessarily. She just didn't feel good and she didn't look good. My mom wasn't feeling good. You know, my half brother has sepsis. And then I start thinking of my other family members. See, this is what happens with me. I start thinking of my Aunt Tammy, my Uncle Tim, my brother Earl, like everybody that has died in my family, I start thinking about, because this is the way my brain works. And I am someone, I'm not going to lie, I do have a fear of death. I still do fear death. Now, this topic, a lot of people do not want to talk about or discuss this, but I have to talk about it. I have to discuss it. If I do not talk about this, if I do not discuss these subjects, it will literally consume me. It will paralyze me as a person. And I kind of let that happen, but at the same time, I didn't let it happen. It automatically happened. Like the last couple of days, I just kind of felt paralyzed. I felt like something reached out and just grabbed me again. You know, it just reached in and just locked, and reached in here and just locked. It just did something. That's the only way I can describe it. And when that happens, let me tell you something. It is not a good feeling at all. It's a horrible feeling, physically, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, whatever word you want to put there for yourself. And it's not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. And today I feel a bit better physically and I feel a bit better mentally. But when this happens to me, I now know I cannot hold on to this stuff. I cannot keep it to myself. I cannot hold it in. I cannot let it consume me like that, because if I do, it does something that is so bad to my body and my mental state. I start being filled with like resentment and hatred and bitterness and rage and anger. I do get like that. And see, my hate for things is because I care. My hatred is pure. It's not a hatred that just hates for no reason. It's a hatred I say, why does this gotta be like this? I don't want this to be like this. Damn, this just came out of nowhere. I hate this. See, that's where my own individual hate comes from, if you understand what I mean. There is both love and hate, but I find myself in this hating more. I'm not going to lie. I find myself hating more in this because it doesn't feel good. it doesn't, it's not fulfilling. It's not, it's very depressing, if I'm being honest. And I feel like when I'm going in that whirlwind again and things are happening and I know they're happening, I need to allow myself, even if I'm angry, even if I feel how I feel, even if I absolutely do not want to do it, I have to do it. I personally have to do it. And on top of that, there is another thing that happened to me personally. I don't want to talk about it on camera. I'm too embarrassed to talk about it. But unfortunate events from my own doings, something else happened that is very unfortunate that I might need to go do something about it. I just don't want to talk about it right now. It's just not something I want to discuss because I feel ashamed. I feel embarrassed. I feel like an idiot to talk about it. But I am a person, I have to do this. I have to come out in my car. I got to press record and I got to upload it to a platform named YouTube and I got to let others hear it. But my intentions are never to bring other people down. My intentions are not to get people angry or to make people be in a worse place. That's not my intentions for these videos at all. And with that, I want to say cheers to everybody. You know, whatever you're going through, listen, I go through a lot of the same shit, y'all. I have not been right physically. I have problems like with mental things. I'm very different, but I'm not so different. You know what I mean? And the more that I realize this, the more I realize that I have to be willing to open up more. I have to be willing to say things that might feel uncomfortable, but it doesn't matter because we're all going through the same stuff. So why should I feel uncomfortable? Cheers. Why should I feel uncomfortable about it? Why should I feel bad or ashamed or whatever when I have to express something that I have to express? I shouldn't feel that way. But sometimes I do, and my brain is telling me this dumb shit. Like crying, for instance. I still have this thing when I cry because there's times where I need to cry, man. I need to cry, and a lot of times I need to cry. Crying is just a way to vent out what is bottled up in you. That's all crying is. It's just another form of expression. You know, we put these labels to it like, oh, you're a sissy, man up, you're a little girl, quit whining and crying. Anyone who says that to another person, that is just idiotic. That is just the lowest of the low when people say shit like that. Now, it might be a situation where people are using excuses all the time to keep messing themselves up, and sometimes they have to be confronted. They have to be convicted. They have to have somebody hold them responsible or quit enabling them. There's times for that too, but what I'm talking about here is what makes us the personal people that we are. See, I'm speaking for me in this video, but I know I might be speaking for other people, but I can't speak for their personal things, you see? And everybody, see, I think that when it says in, scripture and when it says in doctrine about admit your faults to one another, that means opening up more. It means being honest with yourself more, even though it sucks, even though you don't want to do it, even though you feel like you're paralyzed, and you're like, oh my gosh, not again. I don't want to do this again. I did this before. I thought I was over it. That's just not how life is. It's not going to fully go away. And I know this for myself. And right now, I don't have a therapist. I don't have like a soul mate. As sorry as it is to say, I don't really have a person in my personal life that I feel like I can vent to and talk to and not feel like I'm putting something off on them or I'm bothering them. But that comes with the territory of it, though. You see, and this is always going on in my mind. Am I saying too much? No, I don't think I'm saying too much. I think I'm just saying what I need to say for myself. And see, I think when people say things like you're saying too much, you're letting too much be known, don't do this, do this. Like all of that is nonsense because that is just someone trying to tell another person how to go about expressing themselves or getting themselves right or talking about the bad things that they need to talk about. It comes with the territory. This is why it's so hard for me I can't muster the words sometimes to put together for people on camera. But it's always a reflection there. Like when I look at another person and I know that I'm willing to say what I might need to say, I will be willing to speak about stuff. I'll be willing. But then they're not willing to do it. Then I do have some kind of resentment. There's some kind of thing that gets me a little upset and angry because I'm like, why are you holding on to this? You're not doing yourself any good. And I see that in you. But then if I say that, that person might get mad at me. They might get offended by me. They might hate me for a while. They might get some kind of thing towards me, but I didn't mean it in that way. I never meant it in that way. If I'm offending people, that's because I'm saying something to open people up. Because here's what I say. This is a little off topic, but why would anybody get offended by something that they know that they're not? Like if I would call someone a bad name and they would get offended by it, why would they get offended by it if they know in their minds that they're not that thing? Like, why would they get so mad or angry or offended by it? And there's a lot of people in this world, we are getting offended by stuff because we're not willing to open up. We're not willing to be honest with ourselves. We're not willing to let it all out. Like when we're having a couple bad days or something, how many people can just say, look, I am having a couple bad days here and this sucks and I need to talk about it. That is the first step. That is the baby step that needs to be taken with each individual. But a lot of us don't do that. We hold on to this shit and we hold on to this baggage and we keep it to ourselves. And then what do? Then eventually we react in a way where we hurt each other. We down each other. Shit, people might kill one another, as bad as that is to say. I don't even like using the word kill or murder. Just listen to that word. Murder. Murder. Murderer. Murder. Like that word just don't even sound good to my tongue or my vocabulary. It just sounds bad coming off of the tongue. And see, I always pick up on stuff like that. All the time. I'm always discerning stuff for myself. And through discernment comes you holding yourself liable and responsible. And it does put kind of a necessary burden on you, I think. I think it's necessary because when you're saying things that you necessarily don't want to say or don't want to speak about, all it is you are confronting the thing within you that you don't want to speak about. You're confronting something that nobody else might confront, but you're confronting it. And if people get mad, that's okay. That's what's meant to happen. If other people are like, I don't want to talk about this shit, and then you feel bad because you're talking about it, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. And don't let them make you feel bad, because they're going through a lot of the same shit that you're going through. You see what I'm saying? This all comes down to the whole world is basically a mirror reflection of itself. Like, there's something that Terrence Howard said in one of his podcast interviews. He said something. Now, I'm using this, if you want to use this metaphorically, literally, or not at all. That's up to people out there. But he said something in terms of, when I look in the mirror, what do I see looking back at myself? Do I see... Now he used the word God. I'm not saying anybody has to use any word there or put any word there, or creator or source or whatever. You don't have to put anything there if people don't want to. But he used the word God. He said, when I look in the mirror, is God staring back at me? And when I look into others, am I looking at them like they are a reflection of myself? Even though we're different, even though we have different taste buds, and we do different things, and we act different, and we live different, we go to different jobs, we drive different cars, we like different art, we listen to different music, we have different tastes and everything. It's a thing where when I look at someone, can I reflect honestly with myself onto them as well? But I know that I can't speak for them, but really, I should be able to kind of speak for them if they're understanding and resonating on and being honest with what I'm being honest with. You see what I'm saying? And I know that I'm not explaining this right or wrong, but I'm just giving an example of what I mean, even though it might not be making sense. But I know those who discern stuff, I know this is making sense. Somehow it's making sense to you. It makes sense. Sometimes words, though, it's very strange. Sometimes words cannot express, cannot fill in the void of what I'm going for to say to others. It sometimes words doesn't do it justice. It just doesn't do anything. I can't explain it, but it doesn't. And sometimes there are no words to explain what I really mean. It's like a sensing thing. It's like a thing where your discernment is like an alarm or something in your own head. It's like something in the individual that is there that you can't really express through art or words. It's just something in here. It's just a knowing. And I know this is off topic too, but it's very strange. It's someone said something like, this really had me thinking. I don't remember the words, but someone said something like, who is speaking for you? What is speaking for you? Like, the body, it's very strange. It's really, really strange when I think about this. And I know this is very off topic from what I'm saying. And I'm not going to get into all that right now because I'm losing train of thought. But when I think about these things, I just think to myself, like, as I'm sitting here right now, thinking and resonating and reflecting and contemplating, I don't know what I'm going to say, but at the same time, I know what I'm saying. You see what I mean? It's a knowing thing within yourself. And now that I know so many things for myself, when other people might not know it, and then you as a person have to be kind of vulnerable. You got to put yourself out there. You have to let be known the things that otherwise you might not have let been known in your past because you were terrified, you were scared, you were in fear to let people really know what's going on. This energy that I have, it is not an energy that is going to hold back anymore. It's not going to hold shit in and act like something that it's not. There are going to be days where I am worse than other days, how we perceive it to be. There are days where I am going to be under the weather. There are days where things are going to happen and I know this is going to come, so why am I surprised by it? I'm not surprised, but what is surprised? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not surprised, but there is a part of me somewhere, I guess you could say in the mind or the brain or the amygdala or whatever part of the brain. I don't know exactly what part does this, but, and I know this sounds crazy. I know this might sound crazy, but I already know it, but at the same time, it's like, why am I surprised when these things happen? Why am I so shocked? Why do I worry? Why do I still do those things that I do, even knowing that they're going to happen? I still do it. I still worry. I still kind of freak out. I still get down and out. I still let it get me depressed. I still get hit by that thing. But then I'm like, I've already been through this before. I already know that this is going to happen. Like, it's going to come. So how can I be surprised? How can I react the way I reacted so many times before, again and again and again? It's very strange. It's very weird. If people understand what I'm saying, it might be hard to discern what I'm saying, but I'm not surprised, but the brain is still surprised. So when I say I'm not surprised, what is saying that? And when I'm saying the brain is surprised, what's saying that? I don't know if it's the brain. I don't know. Like, this is why, like, when we talk about things like the soul and the physical body, maybe it's all one thing. Maybe the physical body is everything. Maybe the brain is the soul. Maybe the synapses and all of that stuff, maybe that is our quote soul. But yet it's like there is two things going on constantly. It's like there is two entities within the thing that I call me, the I am of me. It's like there's two entities there. I understand, but then at the same time, a part of me does not understand why I still react to some of the things that I react to when I have had that happen. And you would think that by now I would have, quote, learned my lesson with it, or I would have expressed that and it wouldn't be kind of the same reaction, but it tends to be a lot of the same reaction a lot of the times. Not all the time, but a lot of the times. Like, if something happens to someone that is bad, they get injured or I get an injury, I have a reaction where I start worrying and I start getting down and I start thinking about death and I start thinking about the consequences. And the one part of me says, Nate, you already know all of this. You've been there, done it. But then another part of me reacts to it again. So I guess that's just the natural things doing what they do. I guess that's just natural occurrences occurring, how they're happening. And I know this sounds weird. I know this might sound strange, and I know I go off on these, you know, speeches, and I talk about things sometimes, and it might seem like I'm a little sarcastic or I'm saying things that might not make sense, but it makes sense to me. But I can't try to make it make sense to the world or other people, but I don't know. I just had to do this video. I don't know. I don't know if I, as a person, I don't like labeling myself as this, but I don't know. Maybe I am bipolar. Maybe I have some form of something in my brain where, because the last couple weeks, for a while there, I was feeling better about myself. I was in a better state of mind. I was moving around more. I was walking. I was doing a couple more videos. I was making more music. But that's not, I wasn't forcing myself. I was doing it because I really wanted to do it. Now I'm in a situation where it's back to this, something knocked me off my feet again. Something came. It came. This is what I call it. It came. It came again. It's like life came again. Life came calling again. Something came calling my name again. Something came after me again. Something came for me again. And life came for me. So it's really, some things are my fault, but it's really not my fault. Like, it's, if you're understanding what I mean, how I'm saying it, it's not your fault when these things come. It's life coming. It's life happening. But I don't want to blame life, but it is life. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to blame life, but it is life. Because if I blame life, then I'm going to be even more discouraged. I'm going to be even more hateful and more angry and more depressed and stuff. So I'm just going to say, no, that's life happening. I'm not blaming life. It's just life. It's how life is. It's life happening. Are we understanding what I mean when I say this? I think that this is really important to understand for each person. I really do. I think this is an important point to understand, that when you and I are upset or angry or bitter or mad, right away we want to blame something. We want to point the finger. We want to say it's this person's fault. It's that fault. It's whatever's fault or whoever's fault. But when you really, really think about it, it's just life doing what life is doing and what life does. And in that, letting that be, a part of me doesn't want to accept that, or doesn't want to let it go, or doesn't want to say, okay, Nate, it's over with. Nate, it happened. It's life. Then there's a part of me that does let it go and does say, look, it's life, like I'm saying right now. But then there's also still something. See, this is the contradiction going on. And a lot of us use the contradiction of the flesh and the soul, mental and spiritual. We use these words to differentiate what we're going for to say. But really, it's all in one in all, but yet they are different things. It's a very strange conundrum. It's a very strange paradox going on here. And I know that. I know that paradox for myself. Even if I can't make others understand it, I understand it. There's a part of me right now in my mind and in my brain, it's feeling kind of eerie. It's like I'm sick and tired of this. I'm fed up with this. I really don't want to do this. Like, here we go again with this. But then there is a part of me, there is a side of me where it wants to do something the opposite of that. It wants to do things, but it's like I said with the rubber band analogy. Sometimes I'm being pulled in two different directions and I almost can't help it. And it's like no fault of my own. It's I'm being pulled in two different directions. That's how I feel. But then there's times where I'm just going this way and things are smooth and I'm not really thinking too much, and it's just like that's how it's been for the last couple weeks. I've just been walking my own path. I've been going my own way. Now it's like something is pulling me again. The way that I want to walk, the way I want to go, the things I want to do, there's something like pulling me back again. There's something that's there that is going against the grain of that other part of me. There's a part of me that's going against this part of me, and it's like the rubber band stretching, and in that stretching there's a lot of things going on, if that makes sense. And I don't like it. I hate a lot of it. It's not comfortable. It's a lot of it sucks. And this is why I'm doing a video talking about it, because it's there. And I can't pretend that it isn't there, because it's there. And it is annoying. It's frustrating. It's bothersome. And I don't know what to call it. I really don't. I don't know what to call it. I don't know whether to call it this, that, or the other thing. I don't really know a name for it. But that's kind of what happens with me as an individual. And when it's there, it's almost like some of these things, I can speak about it, I can talk about it, I can get it out, I can let it be known. It helps with some things, but some things it doesn't clear up, and some things are still there. The storm is still in my mind, you know? So, yo, I will let y'all go with that. I got to answer the phone. This is my brother's girl, so I got to talk with her. Take care, y'all. Thanks for any support. Like, share, subscribe. Later.